Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. About 4 or 5 topics for this video. The first one, the Russians use an Iskander-M missile to destroy a point of command and control and killing some foreign instructors. You know what those are, and that is in Kharkov. That's the first one. The second one is Mr. Netanyahu, who shows us whose boss he is, shows up in the US Congress. It seems like he was rehabilitated, or at least these guys play a game like we don't like you, but we like you. He comes and speaks in front of the US Congress. He did it yesterday. Can you believe that? Certainly, if you know the dynamics, you understand who's who and what's what. So he wants, and this is another attempt to draw the Europeans into fighting for them against Iran, the perceived threat. And he wants to create a NATO-like alliance in the Middle East. My question is, with whom? With United States of America. And probably you're going to find some vassal states in the Middle East that would join that. So that's the second topic. And we're going to see the Russian reaction to that. Then we have the Brits are provoking the Russians in the Black Sea. So the Brits send their warplanes towards Russia, and then the Russians intercept them and send them home. Little by little, accidents will happen, and then the Brits will be fed this narrative: we were just patrolling to make sure that you guys are safe, and the evil Russians attacked us unprovoked by our NATO borders. I will show you some maps, and we have now to respond by allowing Ukraine to do everything they supposedly want to do when the Americans tell them to. That's another topic. Then we have maps of the incident where it occurred. So let's start with the beginning. Right, there's the first article coming from Russia Today. It is from today, July 25th, 2024. Russian missile strike eliminates dozens of foreign instructors in Ukraine. Minister of Defense video. I'm not going to put a video. It's just the video is just a building and an explosion. Now, what's in that? We have to believe the Russians or not. The attack destroyed a deployment point near Kharkov, killing over 100 fighters, according to Defense Ministry in Moscow. So, here is another article from Sputnik saying the same thing but gives us more details. Russian Iskander-M hits foreign mercenary temporary deployment site in Kharkov, Ministry of Defense says. This is 3 hours ago. Russian Iskander-M missile defense system. If it's defense system, it destroys an active, offensive hit. The same as Putin when he was laughing in front of some Western media operatives or system operatives called the reporters, when it was the conversation about those American missile systems, defense missile systems that were at that time, now it's a fact, were about to be deployed in Poland and Romania, if you remember that one. And the imbecile, hey, the cat brought me a little toy. Good job, bravo, bravo, where are you? Meow, meow, come over here. So when he was told asked by the, we're leaving now, by the baboon operative, why is Putin so stressed about a defense system? Putin said, laughing, that that defense system can be turned into an offensive weapon just like this. And here you have it, the defense system Iskander-M launched and as an offensive target, which is obvious, but the baboons pretend that they don't know. So struck a temporary deployment site for foreign mercenaries in the industrial zone of the city of Kharkov. I will show you the map, killing up to 100 military personnel, including 40 foreign instructors the Russian Ministry of Defense said on Thursday. So where is that? There is the city of Kharkov. This is the map of Ukraine. This is Romania. This is Romania. This is Romania. You like that? This is the Crimean Peninsula. This is where the hostilities occur. And this is the city of Kharkov. Kharkiv, as the Russians call it. Kharkov. Kharkiv is the Ukrainian name. Oh my God, what's going on with you, buddy? Come over here. Agitated? You want to draw attention, I guess. So, well, meow meow now. The crew, I'm quoting, of the Iskander-M operational tactical missile system carried out a missile strike on the temporary deployment site of foreign mercenaries in the industrial zone of the city of Kharkov. As a result of the strike, up to 100 militants were killed, of which 40 were foreign instructors, as well as 60 servicemen of the 151st Mechanized Brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, the ministry said in a statement. What, meow, you want to play? That's what it is. So the Russians again, and they show an attack, the same. Where? What? Where? The Russians show a video with, again, a building blown up and so on. Next, we're going to go to Netanyahu. And Netanyahu rehabilitated. I mean, he was never in peril or in a situation where he would not be still where he's at. Yeah, I think he didn't do something, or at least these guys want to be ambivalent about his actions. Therefore, they played a game like, oh, we don't like him. Oh, yeah, we like him. Oh, we don't like him. Like, you know, that's no, they all like him. You got IFAC, the lobby group in America that's gonna tell the elected officials, the American elected officials, who they should like and who they should not like. And if you don't like this, they will make you a phone call, and then you're gonna like them. Why? Because money is coming your way for your next campaign. Otherwise, they will fund your opponent, who will win, because in democracy we know that each vote counts, but somehow money, donations count more than the votes. All right, so let's see what Netanyahu said in front of the mighty US Congress, elected officials. Sputnik. Netanyahu calls for NATO-like Mideast security alliance to counter Iranian threat. This guy with his clique want to get the Americans and the Europeans, and that's a flag of United States of America and the Jewish state. I was politically correct, yeah. He wants together with others, and he is invited to speak here in front of this chamber of weasels. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, in an address to the US Congress on Wednesday, proposed that the United States and Israel should forge a security alliance to counter Iran. Because Iran wants what? Then you have to counter Russia and China and many other countries on this planet. In the same way that America allied with Europe to counter Soviet Union. Yeah, Soviet Union is gone. That means Iran will be gone, right? And I'm quoting, now, here's my vision. Oh, thank you. Tell us what's the order for the broader Middle East. Broader, what does that mean, broader Middle East? It's also shaped in part by what we saw in the aftermath of the World War II. After the war, America forged a security alliance in Europe to counter the growing Soviet threat, Netanyahu said. And I'm quoting, likewise, America and Israel today can forge a security alliance in the Middle East to counter the growing Iranian threat. If we don't do anything about this, this will happen. The decision was already made. He just let us know. All the countries that are at peace with Israel and all those countries who will make peace with Israel should be invited to join this alliance. You got that? Which should be called the Abraham Alliance. Fuck me, Freddy. Abraham. Have you ever wondered, and if not, I will bring this up, why we in Europe are somehow, and Western world, are, Judeo-Christian values, the Western civilization with a religion coming from there and influencing the Western, and we're together. No, we're not together. You guys are over there, and we should be over here. So it's like an infection coming, from of ideas that somehow we are together in something because we are the same. We are the same. So the Abraham Alliance. The Abraham Alliance would be just Israel alone if that would be for real. But because they are weasels, instead of calling it, I don't know, Abraham, I don't know, Lincoln Alliance, I don't know, my friends. Remember, these guys are bringing into our society, into our civilization, some ideas that belong only to them, some interests belonging only to them, making them somehow our interests as well. They're not our interests, they're their interests. But they make it a lot of our notions, after the Second World War, that this is something that the humanity should care about. No, that only you should care about it. But they make it to the mass media, to the culture revolution, to the entertainment industry, and so on. They make it being like, oh, we should all care for that. No, I don't care for that. You should care for that. You should care for your family. I should care for my family. But somehow I'm supposed to care for your family, but you're not supposed to care for my family. Why? Because you are in charge of me. That's why. So let's see what Sputnik says about Abraham garbage. Kremlin on creating NATO analog in Middle East. Unlikely that such mechanisms needed, the Russians say. You were not asked, you were told. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said on Thursday, commenting on the idea of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to create an alliance similar to NATO in the Middle East, that it is unlikely that such confrontational mechanisms are needed. They will do it nevertheless because they care about themselves. Good for them. If they're able to get the baboons in. In an address to the U.S. Congress on Wednesday, Netanyahu proposed that the United States and Israel should forge a security alliance to counter Iran in the same way the American allied with Europe to counter the Soviet Union. But the Soviet Union is gone and NATO is still there. So, and I'm quoting, do we need confrontational mechanisms in the Middle East? Question mark. It is unlikely, but you need to understand the details of Netanyahu's reasoning before making any conclusions, Peskov told reporters. So even Peskov, even Russia, is sanitizing its words when it's talking about that. Oh, you have to understand Netanyahu's... but Netanyahu understands Iran's? Nah. Palestinians? Nah. So, see, what's good for Israel is good for us. What's good for us, who cares? All right, now let's go to the next article from Russia Today. U.S. and Israel should create Middle East NATO. Okay, we got that supposedly aimed at Iran. Well, the thing is like this. I said it many times before. In the Middle East, if you eliminate, let's say, Iran, there will still be uprisings and attacks and all that. If you take Lebanon, let's say there's no more anymore. Or you take Syria, or you take Iraq. If you take any country, it doesn't exist in the Middle East tomorrow, you still have fights and people will fight because that's a problem. But if you take Israel out of that, I am more inclined to believe that peace will be in the Middle East more than with Israel over there. Why? Because Israel sits on something. So you can take Iran out, which Iran helps the other, weasels. But if you take, Israel, if you take Iran, nothing will happen. It's just that the threat will be diminished for Israel. But if you take Israel, different story. All right, let's go to the last topic, which is the Russians intercept some Typhoon fighter jets over the Black Sea. Sputnik, Russia Su-27 intercepts UK reconnaissance aircraft over Black Sea. I'm going to show you where Black Sea is, and I'm going to show you where NATO is as well. All right, so this is the first article. I have another one. Russian fighter Su-27 was scrambled as an RC-135 reconnaissance aircraft and two Typhoon fighters of the Royal Air Force approaching the state border over the Black Sea. Foreign aircraft made a turn and no breach of the state border was allowed, the Russian defense minister said on Wednesday. On July 24, Russian means of airspace control over the Black Sea detected air targets approaching the state border of the Russian Federation. In order to prevent any breach of the Russian state border, a Su-27 fighter from the air defense forces on duty was scrambled. Only one. The crew of the Russian fighter identified the air targets as an RC-135 strategic reconnaissance aircraft while reconnaissance, and two Typhoon fighters of the Royal Air Force. And I'm quoting, as the Russian fighter approached, foreign military aircraft made a turn from the Russian state border. The Russian aircraft returned safely to its home airfield. There was no breach of the state border of the Russian Federation. The Russians will shoot you down, I guarantee you that. So let's see where this thing is. Let's go to Sputnik first, and we have here a little map, and we'll see where the Black Sea is. Let's make it like this. So you see, this is the Black Sea right here in this area, and beyond here, beyond right there. So this is the Black Sea. This is Crimean Peninsula. So this is Romania, which has a few military bases here, NATO supposedly, and they come towards the Russian, probably here, what the Russians consider their territory. I guarantee you those guys did not go towards Krasnodar over there. Nevertheless, they came around here and then they turn around. Now, where is Great Britain here? Nowhere. But we see this map where you see where NATO is. And you see over here, this is the Black Sea. Oh, no, I don't want that, obviously. You don't want to do that on me. All right, let's go. It's only rock and roll. All right, so it seems like we have to work like this. So the Black Sea is right here, where my strong hand is. This is the Crimean Peninsula, so this is Romania. This is where NATO is currently. Now, when so you tell me who came towards who? Was it Russia coming towards NATO or NATO coming towards Russia? So Great Britain, or the Kingdom, is right here, and they have Typhoon reconnaissance right here. What should the Russians do? And when the accident occurs, when the Russians will hit these guys accidentally, the Russians will not say it was an accident, I guarantee you that. Those guys from here will cry they were attacked. So these guys say, we were attacked by these guys here because we were here. Nothing illegal to be here, in the Black Sea here. Nothing illegal. But don't you think that you kind of, want to be hit? Remember, NATO claims now its border being around here. And they want Ukraine as well. Moscow is somewhere where the A is around here. So they want to come all over here. Remember, they were right here before. That's it. And they get here, they have Greece and they have Turkey. But then this thing was not in NATO, plus Finland and Sweden. They have Norway, which goes around there a little bit. But nevertheless, these things were not here. So now look where NATO is. So who came to disturb whom? But you can't take that into consideration, correct? Why? Because we are the good, and with the good will not harm anybody but Yugoslavia, Libya, Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, and whomever they want, all right? Because that's the way the alliances are doing, the defense alliances. Now let's look at the last article coming from the Telegraph. Russia scrambles fighter jets, plural. The other guy said one, remember? So Russian fighter, that's it. It's just scrambled. Russian fighter. So, but this guy said more than one. Fighters just to escort rough typhoons over Black Sea. Royal Air Force. Russian scrambled fighter jets, plural, to escort two British Typhoon fighter jets over the Black Sea. Its defense ministry has said a Su-27 fighter jet had been mobilized to escort two British Typhoon fighter jets and an RC-135 reconnaissance plane, Russian authorities said. But remember, this was over the Black Sea, which is, they tried to turn it into Mare Nostrum. And let me show you something else here on this map that I didn't it's not this one. Mare Nostrum. NATO wants the Black Sea to turn it into our sea, our lake, NATO lake, which is Russia, Georgia should shut up and become NATO, including Ukraine. Why? Because it's a defensive alliance. But it's defensive alliance against whom? They want to keep the peace in Europe. They kept peace in Europe as they started the war in 1999 against Yugoslavia. So when these guys say, oh, since Second World War there was no war in Europe and so on, yes it was. You created it in 1999, bombardment of then Yugoslavia, what, 72 days, 74 days, so zip it. But they, the operatives and the weasels, the politicians, say certain things but omit certain truth and make certain points which are falsehoods, because they assume, for good reason, that the baboons are busy with their lives and eating each other's fleas, and they will not look into, hey, wait a minute, what do you mean? You attacked, you bombarded that independent country, sovereign country, and you were a defensive alliance, and you went on the offensive. And if that's okay, then the Russians can do the same thing. I mean, what rule applies to you should apply to me, if we are to be just. Remember, NATO moved towards Russia, not Russia towards NATO. So when you hear these liars panic creating garbage, telling us that Russia will invade Europe, we have to prepare for in 2-3 years Russia will be capable of, that is garbage. That is just to infringe your liberties in Europe more and have the Americans take over Europe more. And the military-industrial complex plus the banks, they will make a kill in profits. That's the whole scheme. Not the whole, the main scheme. There's more to that. But the other ones are kind of like details. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just. Where are you? Here. Good.